Hi guys, Lindsay here with Storybook Family Farm. So over the last few weeks, we've actually had a lot of people asking what makes us want to move from here, because you guys have seen the view. You've known the work that I've done here. You know how difficult of a journey it's been, and that we're pretty much at the finish line. So it's kind of like one of those things of, well, now you can just relax. You can just have fun. You can just live life. But to be quite honest, that's not what I want. I don't want to just continue on just doing regular maintenance of, maintaining all of the animals, maintaining the yard, doing all this stuff that just serves ourselves. I've had a desire in my heart for a very long time that I am supposed to be able to serve others, that I'm supposed to help other people, that I'm supposed to give of myself to help others. Every career that I've ever chosen to work in, pretty much, well, not everyone. Fast food was just, well, I guess you could consider that service because it was an act of service, but whenever I started working in nursing homes, it greatly changed me as a person, which I think that honestly everybody should take at least a couple months and become a nurse's aide, do that line of work to experience it and to feel it, because it gives you so much empathy and so much perspective to be dealing with the people that are at the end of their lives and getting to know them. And it was transformative, to say the least. But so ever since then, pretty much, I've dedicated huge amounts of my energy and my time and my life to being of service of spirit, to giving, to helping, to allowing the divine to work through me, to allow people to heal, to just service. That's all that it is. And to be quite honest with you, we could go on indefinitely here serving ourselves, surviving here, thriving here even, of, growing our own food, raising our own meat, animals, making our own dairy. We've already are doing the things. We just put 15 rabbits in the freezer this weekend and stuff, along with a goose, and then next weekend some ducks. We're already really high into the whole thing of self-sufficiency, and most of our 2 acres is not even being used for this lifestyle. In saying that, it got to the point where I realized that I've been called to do far more than what I've been doing now. It's kind of like how when I started the bread baking business and the farmers market business and stuff of, the whole Storybook Family Farm venture, and we still lived in a camper, and I was baking bread for a farmer's market in a little teeny tiny camper oven. I was like, okay, I'm doing the thing, but I can do this as a much larger capacity. I just need a full-size oven. That's all I kept thinking, was I just need a little bit more room, so that way I can grow and I can, basically evolve into who I was meant to be, into who I am now. And for the last, God, I want to say 6 months to a year, something like that, I've been feeling that itch, that uncomfortableness of, it's too small, I'm too constricted, there's not enough room. I have been called to be bigger than this, larger than this, to have a further outreach, a further stretch, a further reach for what I can do in the physical capacity, which seems really conflicting mentally when you consider all of the problems that I have with my joints and my physical body. But I cannot stop feeling like I'm not living to my fullest potential here, that I'm not serving in the way that I could, which I know that there's more that I could do here. There's more that I could, try to force it to work and try to force things into being somewhat better. But ultimately, it's going to keep coming back to this heart thing of, I'm not fully fulfilled. I'm not able to create what I need to. I'm not living up to my purpose. I'm not doing the thing that I set out to do. And that is ultimately why we're going to move and stuff. We need more land. We need more space, so that way I can do the things that I need to do. Because honestly, what I would love to do is be able to have it that our farm is almost like a public place, that people can just come, obviously have business hours, so then that way I have my sense of peace and sanity and stuff. But I want to be able to have a small farm store that offers goods that are from all of my vendor friends that I've met at different farmers markets and stuff. I want to be able to have food be affordable for people to buy, that doesn't have a bunch of toxins in it, that has not been sprayed, that doesn't have fertilizers and chemicals and whatever else they shove in it. I don't want that anymore. I want people to be able to have the opportunity to live the same life that I have, even if they don't have land. I want it to be that people can come and that they can do farm tours and stuff, like self-guided farm tours, so that way my time's not tied up all the time. I want to be able to have it be that along the pastures that I have nice walking paths, that people that are disabled, because to be quite honest, there's an extremely high probability that in my lifetime, probably in the next decade or so, I'm going to need a wheelchair. That's how everything, the path is going. So it's kind of, to me, it's I see the writing on the walls. I see that this is not where I'm going to be able to do all the things that I feel called to do. So we need to do this now while I'm still capable of setting things up for the future. Okay. What I want to be able to do is have a massive, massive orchard with berry bushes and raised garden beds and stuff that people can come and pick their own stuff, because I have the ability right now to plant it. But in 10 years, when things are ready to be harvested, I don't know if I'm going to have the ability to harvest it. But I'm still going to want to keep doing this lifestyle. I'm still going to want to keep doing this because this is just, it's what feels right. It feels right for my soul to just keep being so connected to nature and to just sort of trying to bring people into my world, bring them into my realm, my reality and stuff, of just realizing that everything else can just be left outside of the gate. It could just, all the stressors of the outside world, leave it on the road, leave it behind, like just step in and stuff, see my world, see my reality, live in this for a moment and stuff, because there's so much peace that can be given. And it's not like, we had a friend over the weekend and she was saying about like, how can you guys leave this place? Like, it just, I come here and it just feels like home. It just is so peaceful. She's like, it feels like coming to therapy, like in the best way possible, just by stepping foot here. And I'm like, this is what we can create anywhere. Like, it's the energy that we possess is that we can make it feel like home anywhere we go. And like, I just want to be able to do this on a bigger scale. That's the cut and dry of it. I want to be able to essentially provide food and shelter and lodging and a place of peace and nourishment for the soul for a lot of people. And we can't do that here. There's just simply not the space. There's not the energy. There's not the capacity. There's not the room to expand in the ways that I need to expand. And it's just the way that it is. And it breaks my heart that we are going to move. Like, it honestly does. Like, we've cried so much about it. And I've honestly been so mad at the divine and stuff, like, to where I've been like, that's it. I'm done. I'm just not going to do this anymore. Like, I'm not going to keep living this lifestyle. Like, I'm done. If we're just going to have to keep picking up and moving, then I'm done and stuff. And just feeling so angry that I have to start over again and I have to do this all over again. And like, knowing how much I hurt and how much work I've done here, it's been hard to be like, this is what's for the best, because I know that like the amount of damage I sustained in my body to do this, not reversible. Okay. The amount of damage that I'll sustain likely to go to the next place, pretty much going to be intense. But to me, when it's a battle of the heart and the head, I have to go with the heart every single time, because I can't not do that. I can't not love. I can't not serve. I can't not try to hope the best for people and try to help people heal. That's just not who I am and stuff. And here it just feels selfish, to be quite honest. It feels selfish to stay, to be like, yeah, screw all you people. Doors are closed. There's no room at the inn. You cannot come in. It's like that saying of, that you could either build a taller fence or a longer table. And I've always been the longer table person, but there's not enough room here for my table to expand. And that's something that makes me greatly, greatly saddened, because it's like, dang, we've got ourselves set up. We've got ourselves established. We've got the gears of the wheel, the cog, everything is moving, everything is in motion, everything is like smooth sailing now with all the animals, and we've got a good routine, we've got a good flow going, all that stuff. But it's like, this isn't it. It's just the long and skinny of it isn't it. So haven't found the place yet, haven't been there yet and stuff. I mean, we still don't know about that one place. It's all complicated and stuff, and I don't know. I just know that wherever we're going next is wherever we stay, and it's going to be my life's work. Like, and I don't care if it takes me forever. I don't care if it takes 10 years to get the whole thing going. I just know that, like, because this is a desire that's been placed in my heart, and I've honestly quite literally begged God to remove the desire in my heart, to remove me from this calling, to have somebody else do it, because I'm just so tired. I'm so exhausted. I'm so like worn out and spread so thin from this project that it's just, when I dream about it and I think about it and I feel into it, and my mind escapes to it constantly, of just this constant calling of this different world that I'm being called to create. And it's like, I can't not do that, because then I'll feel my whole life unfulfilled, which I think that's part of the reason too, honestly, why mental health is so rampant in the world right now and stuff, is that so many people are living so far away from their calling and so far out of alignment with themselves that it comes through as depression. Because for me, that's how it feels. it feels like burnout. It feels like being so depressed that you're just like, I can't go on like this. Like there's nothing, I don't enjoy this anymore and stuff. And like, I love coming out here, hanging out with the goats. I love every aspect of this life. But when it's starting to feel like I hate it all because it's just, I'm so far out of alignment because I'm not serving anybody except for myself, that's a problem. So basically, I'm just going to keep leading with my heart, keep forging ahead, keep dreaming, keep allowing my brain to just wander off and make the plans and stuff, not knowing how it's going to be funded, not knowing how pieces are going to fall into place, not knowing who's going to show up to help, just knowing that the right people are going to come and the right support is going to be here when I need it. And that's just how it's going to go. I mean, that's all I can say about that is like, I don't know if we're going to end up with a place with raw land. I don't know if we're going to end up with a place with a house on it. I don't know. I just know that it's something so much bigger than what we have now currently, that this is what it's all been for, that we've been, how difficult of a path this has been. Falcon just flew around again. They've been picking off our birds left and right. So I think it's kind of funny how the chickens, they'll start like hatching out a whole astronomical amount of birds before there's ever a predator problem. It's like they know that their numbers are going to get shrank. But so, yeah, I'm really excited, but I'm also a little scared and stuff. A lot of things that I've done them very scared, especially like with this house and everything. And that's where I was going with it before the Falcon. But I felt like when we were in the midst of all the chaos and all the darkness and all the heaviness and the burdens and the challenges of this property, I kept thinking in the back of my mind, this is growing me for the next thing. This is growing my skills. This is growing my confidence. This is growing my ability to juggle things and to keep things going and to it's increasing my carrying capacity tremendously. Because you figure when we first moved here, we had a bottle baby goat. I was struggling like crazy trying to keep up with milking one goat and feeding that bottle baby goat. Now we have, Dandy's obviously, he was in the background somewhere. I think he must have went in the barn. We had no problems this year dealing with him. Right now we have a dog with 9 puppies in the house and stuff. Like we have so many things going on right now and I don't feel like I'm drowning. I'm like, okay, one more thing's been added. Okay, I can carry this. I can keep this plate spinning too. I can do this now too and stuff. Like when we first moved here, it was like, oh my God, now I gotta go do this. And oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Like it was like all I could do to just keep my head above water at that time. And now I'm like, oh, I could go through that day super easy. Like it still have energy to spare, still have, more to give and stuff. And now I'm like, okay, I have more to give again. I have more that I can do again and stuff. And it's not like, so many people keep going like, what is wrong with this that you don't want it? And it's like, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just not big enough. The dream is not big. This place is not big enough to hold my dream. I've dreamed too big, I guess, but I can't help it. It's the journey that we've been on. Each time that we move, it's like we're leveling up and we're growing and we're shifting and we're evolving further and further and further. And I'm really, really grateful that I started YouTube before this whole thing really started, like when we still lived in the camper and stuff, because like I'm basically walking you guys through and just the whole world is watching me transform in metamorphosis, and it's kind of interesting because then I'm going to be able to watch myself. Like when I look through and I watch older videos, I'm like, wow, I was so nervous. Like I was so nervous on camera. Like I felt like I was being so like courageous and brave and all that, but it was like, no, looking back now, I can see the nerves. I can see the scaredness. I can see all of that stuff. And now I'm just like, okay, who I am now is different. I've grown and stuff. I've grown a lot. So I'm very grateful that I started filming all of this and stuff. So that way the world can see the evolution of Lindsay. So it's kind of interesting. But I'm going to cut this off here because otherwise I'm just going to ramble and I need to go get breakfast and then do some weed eating and do some other stuff. So anyways, thanks for watching. Have a good one, guys.